Hey there, everybody. It's Kenny along with Kenny Squared. Welcome back to another edition of Sports on the Positive Tip. This is our opening. Kenny, I can't figure out the whole Cal Raleigh and Randy Arozarena thing. Arozarena kind of went off afterwards, but they say some of it was in Spanish. They say that he was probably kidding. Raleigh said, "Hey, no, we're great." I watched a video of, I didn't see that game particularly until it was joined in progress, of Fernando Tatis and Wilson Contreras shaking hands at the beginning of the game. As far as I remember, yeah, as far as I remember, they've never been teammates, at least not in the majors. What was Raleigh thinking? Like, why would he not? There's nothing worse than, being left hanging, as we say, right?
Yeah, and I also don't get why he didn't just it didn't have to be like this crazy dap up, but just
No.
acknowledge him. He
Yeah.
is your teammate. Like in next week this time, you're gonna be back in camp regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I mean he's in his squad anyway. You don't expect him to get up and they hug it out. He could have just with his glove clunked him or whatever, you know. That was just one of the strangest things I've ever seen, man. Um, and speaking of strange, because I thought that he was, and he's actually been a pretty good announcer on SNY. But I saw in the game last night in Italy, Adam Ottavino was pitching. Did you? And he pitched actually pretty good. Did you see that?
I did. I like that he is I like that he's getting another shot. I mean, I don't think he's gonna get like a spot on a roster,
No,
but
no. I think broadcasting is in his future. He sounded pretty good. He was doing some of the Met pregame stuff last year. And did you tell me that he's on? Is he on one of the Yankee ones or no?
I
No, I
don't
don't think so. I
think
think he's
so.
he's just on the Mets. You know, speaking of
Yeah.
Mets, I didn't have this in my notes, but I saw this beforehand that the Mets are going to retire Carlos Beltran number. Good idea?
Yeah, I mean, he is a Hall of Famer, but
Yeah.
also I don't think of him as like a great all-time Met,
Well,
but
yeah,
he is a Hall of Famer. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, last quick thing. I mean, what do you do? We're going to get into this when we talk about free agency, but there was a Ravens fan who did this whole video of him. Did you see of shaving his head because they got Maxx Crosby, and now Maxx Crosby is back with the Raiders. I mean, what do you say to that? Anything? You have any comment?
I always appreciate when people actually go through with what they say they're gonna do.
Yeah,
Like there was one where the guy said like if the Clippers go 17-3 in their next 20 games, I'll eat this tweet. And then posted a video of him eating the tweet because they went 17-3. Like I can appreciate when you do it, but like you
yeah,
gotta feel bad for the guy.
yeah, yeah. Well, what did Mad Dog say about a year or so ago on something, and he didn't make good on it? I forgot what it was, and he took a lot of heat for not making good on. He said he was going to quit his job if somebody won, right?
Oh yeah. I think that was I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, while you're looking that up, we got a lot to get into. We're going to get into the free agency, the WBC, the NBA, inspiration. You ready to get this going?
Let's go.
This episode of Sports on the Positive Tip is brought to you by the Tavern Coffee House. Attention, coffee lovers! Are you craving the perfect cup of coffee to start your day? Well, look no further than the Tavern Coffee House. It's located at 12302 Buckeye Road in Cleveland, Ohio. You can also check them out and order your coffee at thetaverncoffee.com. Hey there, everybody. This is Kenny and
Kenny squared.
with the sports on the Positive Tip Podcast. Kenny, I can't wait to get into this NFL free agent. There's just two really stories for me. Go ahead. You find?
I found it.
Yeah.
He said that he vowed on air to quit if the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies in the NLCS back in 2000 in 2023. So
He's
and
still working. You
and
see,
he's still working.
yeah, don't be saying that stuff if you can't do it. I mean, I think Carton was the one who walked across the Brooklyn Bridge in the nude, but he had on like a nude suit or something like that. And I forgot what that bet was about. It was something silly. I mean, just people got, especially in this age of everything is on video, people are going to bring it back up. Wait a minute. Remember you said this? Are you going to make good on it? I mean, come on. All right. I find this whole Maxx Crosby story fascinating because this doesn't happen often. Um, and I'm so anxious to hear your thoughts on this because DaCosta, who is the Ravens GM, has been a Ravens GM, I think 14, 15 years, somewhere around there. Obviously, an excellent GM. He's never once traded away a number one pick. And for Crosby, he trades away two. And then a day or two later, the whole thing falls apart. You've got the NFL, that kind of period there where you can announce this stuff, but it doesn't become official. And you can back out at any time, but you rarely hear this. And it is so not clear why he backed out. Did he just like say, man, I shouldn't be giving up these picks? And or is it something, an injury, right? Now, Crosby was injured last year. But it's just the oddest thing, and I don't blame DaCosta for not really saying the true reason why. I think that's more private, right? The closest I remember was remember at the trading deadline last year, the Lakers got the guy Mark Williams from Charlotte and had to send
Yeah.
him back. But it was very clear that he failed a physical, and it was weird because he didn't miss a game after that. I mean, he kept playing. And the Lakers really needed a big man like that last year. Then they went out and got DeAndre Ayton, this year. But here's my other quick take on it. And I'm anxious to hear your thought. They go out then and get Trey Hendrickson, right? Who, I mean, it's really close, Kenny. But if you look at stats, Hendrickson has 10 more sacks since 2019 if you compare him with Crosby, right? And one might say Hendrickson is at least as good as Crosby, right? And they signed him as a free agent. So they didn't have to give up any picks or anything like that. And maybe that came across his desk. I don't know. I just find it fascinating that a high profile guy like Crosby, one of the best players in the league, goes to the Ravens. And I remember when you text me, I'm like, man, that's a great move for the Ravens. And then a day later, the deal is like reversed. What's your whole take on this?
Yeah, I'll start with it doesn't really happen that often. I'll give a couple more examples that come to my mind. Actually, both are related to the Mets. When the Mets almost traded away Wilmer Flores, and he's like sobbing
Yeah,
in the infield,
yeah,
which was like one of those, man. You should just take him out
yeah,
just for the simple fact that he can't handle it right
yeah, yeah,
now. But then also we saw it not once but twice with Carlos Correa,
yeah,
where which is still crazy to think because like his saga of going from having an 11-year deal to, or I think one was 13 years with either the Mets or the Giants, to
yeah,
then getting a short-term deal and now is back with the Astros. He's a weird guy.
yeah,
But like it doesn't happen that often.
yeah.
And like you, I was a little surprised that they gave up two first-round picks. Because like Crosby's good, but
They never
I don't
do
know
it.
if he's worth
Yeah. And
like
the
he's not worth
Ravens never
two.
do it. Ravens never make these draft day trades. It was out of the norm, but Crosby's really good.
Yeah, and like in contrast, you have teams like the Rams who like they haven't made their first round pick in I think over a decade because
Yeah,
they constantly traded away.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it was I think a little surprising, which kind of showed that they were in on him. But maybe they did have a little bit of buyer's remorse and were like, oh, I don't know how that hamstring looks, or oh, I don't know if your knee's fully healed.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because like I'm sure in most NFL physicals, there's something in there.
yeah,
Whether it's like their knee looks a little brittle,
yeah,
their back may not last for 5 years, but
yeah,
like it's the NFL. Like there's always the risk of injury.
yeah,
Um, but it does because they also kind of said, and I think this seems to be more of a cop out, that their plan was to have both of them, Hendrickson and Crosby, which would be a devastating defensive
oh,
line. But also, I don't know if you would have been able to afford that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
what to me is the most interesting part is like, who trades for him now? Like, it was kind of inevitable that he was going to get traded in the offseason.
yeah.
But now you're like, well, he can't be worth two first round picks.
No,
Like,
no,
unknowingly, like the Ravens kind of torched his draft value or his trade value. But
Yeah.
you never know. Like there might be a team, especially after the draft, that's willing to deal. Um, I don't know if you saw too, something to me that was interesting is apparently the Raiders were refusing to trade him to the Patriots,
Why?
as per Brady.
Oh
Uh,
God.
which I joked a few
Yeah.
Patriot fans, oh, maybe you can give up 5 first round picks and get him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, I just think that's interesting. But it will be interesting to kind of see where he lands. And now, like, he was all set to go to Baltimore. If he still is a Raider week 1, it's going to be kind of awkward.
Well, I think to his credit, Ken, he's handled it extremely well because I think he tweeted out, just simply said, I'm a Raider. And clearly he didn't want to be there, but maybe he also had a change of heart too. I'm almost thinking it happened like this, and then we'll get, if you'll allow me to rant for a few seconds on Geno Smith. Um, it's almost like somebody, whispered into Costa's ear, like, dude, I mean, Hendrickson wants to come here. He wants to stay in the division. He said he'd like to play in Baltimore. He's just as good. Maybe some people will say he's better. And you're not going to have to give up a pick from him, for him. So it's just going to cost you money. It's going to cost you a lot of money, but it's going to cost you money. I'm wondering if someone tapped him on the shoulder and said, you know, can we unwind this? And I'm sure that made the Raiders very angry. But if it's something physical, I don't blame him. If he got cold feet, I kind of don't blame him either. But it is just with these high profile stars like this, and especially in the you would think it would happen more often in the NFL, right? Because like you said, man, there's always some sort of underlying injury with almost anybody if they played in the NFL for a few years. Um, but this is just it is going to be fascinating to see what happens with Crosby now. Like I said, it seemed like from his tweet he's content on going back to the Raiders. I'm just not so sure. I'm just not so sure because he did badmouth them a lot on the way out the door, or to get himself out the door. All right, allow me a second on Geno Smith here, Ken. We're sports on a positive tip, so this is not easy for me. Um, I liked what everything else the Jets did for free agency. They've lost a couple of guys, trade away a few more playmakers, but I thought they got a good receiver. I love Minkah Fitzpatrick coming. He's 29. Hopefully, you get at least a good 2, 3 more great years out of him. He's one of the top defensive backs in the NFL. So I really love that. And Geno Smith is exactly what I didn't want as a Jet fan, and not personally him. I just think Geno Smith is a very, very small band-aid. And that's why if we were going to go with one of these free agents or one of the guys that was on the outs, I would have either gone with Tua or Kyler because of their age. Because you might catch lightning in a bottle with those guys, and maybe they're around for the next 3 years. Geno Smith is going to be 36 by the time the season opens. And I hate to say this, man. Geno's career, he's had 2 really good years, and that was with Seattle. He didn't have a good year last year with the Raiders. Again, it's way into the past, right? It was 2012 with the Jets, but the stuff that happened, it was one thing after another. I mean, it was just drama with him getting punched in the jaw, not his fault, right? Uh, but maybe he caused a little bit of that by not paying the guy back. Now again, that's a long time ago. People changed 12, 13 years ago, and we're all for that. But Geno Smith is, I think when you first texted me that Geno was being released, I think I texted you back that says, I think the rest of his career is destined to be a backup. I think he'd be a very good backup. But I mean, on this Jet team that is now accumulating some talent here, starting to get me a little excited what they did here. But you need the quarterback. I was very disappointed that they didn't roll the dice on someone else. I would have, if we're going to do a 1, 2 year stopgap, to me, there's no comparison with him and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is still not signed. I mean, okay, 1 or 2 years, because Cousins is not going to play another 5, 10 years, I don't think. He's in his late 30s, but he's better than Geno. I'm sorry. And Geno, like I said, man, it's a great story where his career started to where it went to in Seattle, but I don't really know whether he's really good or not anymore, based on the way he played last year. And you could say the Raiders were just not a good team, right? Which they obviously wasn't, but he didn't elevate them. And now you're putting him on this team that looks like they're going to have some weapons, but it is just a band-aid, and that frustrates the heck out of me. But I'm going to warm up to it. And, first time Gino has, a great game because he is capable. I'm going to say yes. All right. I just don't think it was a great move by the Jets. And that I said that, before this happened. So what were your thoughts?
I don't know if I said this directly. Um, like it would be a very Jets offseason to hope for like a guy like Kyler and end up with Geno Smith and Joe Flacco as your guys.
You did say it.
Um,
You said it a couple of weeks ago.
no shade to either of them, but it just isn't what the Jets need. Unless you're thinking Geno is the type of guy that can help us get Arch Manning next year by giving us another 2-15 type of year.
Uh,
But but you hate to see that.
yeah.
Um, I don't understand the move at all. It's not like he had an amazing time and he left. Um, Geno Smith has kind of been the guy to pave the way for the next guy. Um, in Seattle, he was pretty good, but he paved the way for Sam Darnold to win a championship.
Yeah.
In Vegas, assuming that they go with Mendoza, he's kind of paved the way there. I just also to me it doesn't necessarily make sense because of uh like you have a young head coach that's still trying to figure out his footing. Like, okay, so let's say Gino's actually good and you bring him back for another year. You're probably not going much further than like 2 years with Gino. So like you're asking this guy in year four as a head coach, Aaron Glenn is going to have three different starting quarterbacks. Like to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like I understood Justin Fields last year because it was kind of like a low risk, high reward type of move. But here yeah, it's low risk because you're not spending a lot. But I don't know what the upside is, especially when you look at the rest of your division. And I mean, I don't know what the Dolphins are doing with Malik Willis. I don't understand that move either. But you have Drake May, you have Josh Allen. Like, you kind of need to hope that you hit the lottery with a bigger splash than Geno Smith.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I agree with you. Listen, who here has seen Malik Willis play a lot? I don't think either one of us. I mean, if he's that good, why is he not starting and Jordan Love is? Is Jordan Love that much better than him? Well, then so I didn't understand that either because I know he was rumored for the Jets as well. But I mean, I think both Kyler Murray and Kirk Cousins are shaking their heads because they're like, they probably had the Jets on their mind because they haven't signed anywhere yet, both those guys, and they're like two of the last remaining really good free agents. I know Aaron Rodgers is still out there. If he play another year, which will probably be maybe back in Pittsburgh, but I I don't I just it's I'm so tired of the Band-Aid, with the Jets. And it seems like anybody that we get from the outside just doesn't work out, man. And you can go back as far as Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Neil O'Donnell. The only one that worked out for a year and a half probably was Vinny Testaverde. But every other good quarterback the Jets have had, they've got it homegrown. It was Richard Todd, Mark Sanchez. But man, oh man, again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Gino, comes in and he captures what he did in Seattle, which he had a couple of really great years, but it's such a band-aid.
Yeah, and I agree. Like the Band-Aid, it makes sense for certain teams. I
Yeah,
think the Jets just need a full reset. And I understand if you're not sold on like a Ty Simpson or somebody else,
right.
then fine. Like, first of all, trade the pick,
Yeah,
trade down in the draft, get a couple more draft picks.
yeah,
Um, but like especially when you're looking at your division. If you have the worst quarterback in the division, typically it's not a good sign.
You're not going to win.
Um,
You're not going to win that division, and
like I look at
yeah,
I look at the Browns. That's their biggest issue. Like
yeah,
unless Shador starts taking a step up, like
yeah,
if you have the worst quarterback in your division, good
yeah,
luck.
yeah. NFL free agency is both exciting and weird to me at the same time because so many moves happen that I just can't keep up with them. So I'll only talk about one other, unless you had some others. And you and I texted about this. Tua going to Atlanta was really, really strange to me. And I do think I feel stronger about Tua, I know, than you do. I do think Tua in the right system will probably play well if healthy. And he stayed healthy last year. There was some things happening with Miami, I think, that were just off. I think we called that at the beginning of in our preview last year. We thought the Dolphins wouldn't be good. But you draft this guy, Penix, who shows some promise. But that's after you sign Kirk Cousins to this huge contract. Now you had to eat a lot of his money, right? And then, oh, by the way, Cousins comes in the last 4 games, 5 games, first couple of games, he doesn't do great. Then they put his offense in and he wins the last 4 games. And you could have still just brought him back, but now you go out and get Tua to compete with Penix. That just doesn't make much sense to me. What were your thoughts on that move?
It was kind of bizarre. The only thing I can think of is maybe Stefanski sees something in him, but
Yeah,
I feel like he's not really Stefanski's type of quarterback.
right.
Like Baker Mayfield was a great fit for him because like he kind of works with the play action. He's got a pretty strong arm downfield. Like Tua doesn't, and Tua's not that athletic either.
Hmm.
So like I don't know, it's a weird move. Um, Fun fact: the Miami Dolphins are paying $99 million in dead cap money. Um, the Miami Marlins are paying less than their entire payroll.
They're playing 99 million dead cap money for one guy. See, and I understand if they just thought that this is two is not going to take us anywhere now. You know what I mean? So I kind of get it. But to me, man, unless it's a devastating injury or something, what changed in those years where you signed him to all this money and you thought that he was the guy to lead this franchise to the Super Bowl? I mean, the Dolphins' drought is just about as bad as the Jets, except they've been into the playoffs, but they haven't won a playoff game late 90s, maybe something like that. Um,
Yeah, they have the longest drought. I think it's either 99 or 2000.
Yeah, I mean, so I, I scratch my head, and again, there's things that we don't see, right? Heck, we do a podcast, we don't see some things behind the scenes, but from a fan's point of view, I'm like, wow. But you and I both said that when they signed to it, we're like, oh, that's a little risky, but okay, I I don't know, man. Were there any other signings that stood out for you? How did you think your Giants did?
I think the Giants did pretty well, or the New York Ravens. Um, I do like the Isaiah Likely signing.
Yeah,
I think that's a good one.
yeah,
Giants had weird kicking issues, which cost them a few games last year.
yeah.
Um, I think of like when they brought in Young Koo and he like totally missed.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
but then also the first game against the Cowboys, a couple of like a missed extra point, missed field goal is what made it a tie game and all. So I like the moves that they did. It kind of seems like they also rebuilt the offensive line a little bit. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, the key for the Giants is health, right? Get your wide receiver, get your running back healthy, and then keep your quarterback healthy. And then I think, and you got one of the best coaches in the NFL, if not the best, one of the best coaches, right? I think you got something cooking. So I like the moves they made. They didn't go crazy, but I think the players that they added are really good. And they didn't really lose anybody, I don't think. Hear your opinion. I don't think they lost anybody of significance to free agency.
I mean, they lost Wendell Robinson, who I think had the most receiving yards, but I'm not going to say that's like a
Yeah.
significant loss.
Yeah. Yeah. The Jets lost a guy who was their first round pick in 2021, who's been an absolute bust, and so sometimes the addition by subtraction thing, works. All right, lots more to talk about in the NFL, but let's switch over to baseball. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
There is one I just thought of.
Yeah,
Kenneth
yeah.
Walker to the Chiefs is a very
Oh
interesting
my
move.
gosh. Yeah.
Um, I'll just say this real quick. I think the Chiefs have gone from, yeah, tomorrow next year might be a bit of a dead year to no, we're going back for it, and hopefully Mahomes doesn't miss too much time.
Yeah. Yeah. And Travis Kelce coming back also tells you that they're going back for it. Um, it, I can't imagine that Mahomes won't come back as good or even better than he was. That's just me. What do you think?
I would agree.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like the type that's just gonna like uh, mess around with rehab. He's gonna take it the whole way.
Yeah. Kenneth Walker, it wasn't just the Super Bowl. That guy's been a pretty good running back for a while now. It was just, in the Super Bowl, it got highlighted. He's clutch. I was surprised Seattle didn't bring him back. That I guess you can't play sentiment, right? As Super Bowl MVP. But yeah, you could go. Just, I guess you can't play sentiments. But that I'm glad you brought that one up. I think that's a big move for the Chiefs. Absolutely. Um, all right, WBC. Let's jump in. I've watched, I've been more on than off of it. I've tried to watch as much as I can. And it's so fun seeing some of these players you haven't seen in a while or heard from in a while um, to watch it. I got to ask you this question first about Mark DeRosa. As far as I know, I mean, where's he managed that before? Like I thought, so when they said that they were looking for the manager for this, I was thinking maybe Dusty Baker, Joe Madden, Mike Scioscia, some of these guys, Buck Showalter, some of these guys that haven't really done anything in the last few years. I know all. I
Willie
just
Randolph.
Willie Willie would have been good. I mean, I just named four old guys, right? But I mean, this is a month-long thing about right. One of them could do it. When they named DeRosa, I was like, oh, okay, nobody's given DeRosa a shot yet, right? Am I wrong? Am I off? Where has he managed before? Has he managed in the minor leagues and college? I know he hasn't managed in the majors. Why DeRosa, first of all? And I don't want to kill him for this because now he's kind of backtracking on what he said, but I mean, it worked out. I imagine if it didn't work out, he'd be taking a little bit more heat than he is right now. What we're talking about is him not knowing, the rule that the USA wasn't in, that Italy had to take care of business with Mexico yesterday. But why do you think DeRosa? I thought I'm not second guessing. I thought that was an odd pick from the beginning.
I think they're thinking more of like a player type of coach, kind of
Yeah,
like Aaron Boone actually.
right.
Um, but I do understand not going after a guy that is currently coaching. Um,
Right. That's why I
but
named
like
these guys. Yeah. Yeah.
I think also maybe they were hoping that he could do this for a while, like because he's the first Team USA manager that's managed two. The it was 2023 now here in 26.
Oh, he
So
did he did manage the one before. Okay. Okay.
yeah, so like maybe that's also part of the thought process is like this guy could do it for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though, if they don't make at least the finals, I don't know if people are going to want him back.
No.
I think that they'll look for somebody else.
Yeah.
Um, and
I,
like I think one of the bigger things is not even so much like I can understand not understanding whether or not you made it. Just like most of the teams, I'd have to look, except for no, Mexico ended up 2-2. I think all of the teams that won three games ended up making it. So like when you win that third game, you kind of think that you're in. And he literally said that. MLB Network took down the video of him saying it, but obviously people clipped it and all.
yeah.
Um, so like he did say like our ticket's already punched when it wasn't. Um, now even even so, it would have been really hard for the U.S. to get eliminated based on the way things were figured out. But not even just with him kind of backtracking what he said, you could tell he thought that based on the lineup that was out there. Bryce Harper wasn't there. Alex Bregman wasn't there.
Yeah.
PCA, who had a great game, was in center field when it's been Byron Buxton.
Yeah.
Cal Raleigh, um, obviously wasn't there either, and like was runner up for MVP. No shade, but Nolan McLean, who wasn't that good, was out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like not that he's not good, but like he struggled. He
Right.
had Clayton Kershaw, old man Clayton, go in and throw it in the bullpen when they're down 8-2 or whatever. Um, but then I feel like that's kind of the moment when he realized, oh, we haven't punched our ticket yet.
Yeah.
Oh, runs allowed is important. And that's when you started to see the big guns kind of get in there.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know. To me, that's a big mistake, but it's also kind of puzzling that nobody else said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
The
I
bench.
don't know, but
Yeah.
all is good. Um, there's still a path for them to make it there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think it makes it even worse that he managed them in 2023. I didn't realize that because he should know the rule. Because there are some different rules, right? Pitchers can only pitch 65 pitches, right? There, so you've got to set your rotation kind of up as well. Um, anyway, so give that the benefit of the doubt. I'm hoping that the second part of the game that the U.S. started hitting because they hadn't scored from the third inning of the previous night until what, the fifth or sixth inning of the next night. So they went 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 innings almost without scoring a run with that lineup. But you're right, it was missing some pieces, No shade on the guys that were in there, but they were missing some pieces.
Yeah, and also it kind of feels like they thought they clinched because like he alluded to like some of the people partying the night before and not
Right.
everyone was 100% there. So like everyone was a little sluggish. I don't know. It just kind of
Yeah,
seems a little weird.
it does.
Um,
It does. It does.
but also like please recognize at this point you cannot lose any more games.
Right.
It's
They have to run
knockout
the
from
table
here.
now. Yeah, they have to run the table now. So they match up against Canada, yes. Um,
Yep.
that should be a game they win. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Um,
Um, I'll pull up Team Canada's roster,
yeah,
but this is a game that they should win.
while you're pulling that up, I want to ask you a question. What is the criteria to play for a country? Because like Aaron Nola, who looked great by the way last night, looks like he's healthy, which is not good news for the Mets because he definitely wasn't healthy last year. What's the criteria to play? He's playing for Italy. Is it just you have Italian descent, or do you have to be born in that country? What's the criteria for playing for another country?
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that because fun fact, Team Italy, I think they're 26 man route. No, I think it's 30 with like some guys that are kind of like in reserve kind of. Um, but out of their roster, 21 of the Italian team, 20 members of the Italian team are born in the US.
Well, so you
But
just have an Italian background, Italian descent?
yeah, so there's a few different ways of eligibility. There's like if one of your parents were born there, which is the case with Austin Wells, who definitely doesn't look Dominican, but his mom is Dominican, so that's why he's
Okay.
able to
Right.
catch for them.
Right.
So like if you have a parent that's a relative there, like a guy like Dave Roberts would be able to play for Japan because he was born there.
Right. Right.
It's like either like parents were you were born there, or you can like prove that you would have had nationality there. That's
Okay.
what Aroldis Chapman was trying to do with Great Britain and couldn't.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, those are kind of the general criteria.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of like, especially for Team Italy, which shout out to Francisco Cervelli, who credits a lot of his managerial success to Joe Torre.
Yeah.
Um, he's done a great job. Apparently, he's been like driving all around Italy looking for baseball players, um, kind of continuing to recruit because he's also there. He's going to do two, I
And the guy
believe,
from the
stints.
Royals hit 3 home runs, man. That was amazing.
Mr. Pasquatch.
Yeah, yeah. Francisco Cervelli will be a big league manager, as probably will Yadier Molina, right? From coaching the Puerto Rican team. I kind of know he's had aspirations there. So, um, give us a rundown on some names we might recognize for the Canada team.
Um, Also, another guy I would point out potentially would be Albert Pujols for the Dominicans. He was
Oh yeah,
close this year, apparently.
yeah,
But
yeah,
all right, here's a few. Logan Allen, um,
yeah.
was born in the U.S. um, James Paxton,
Okay,
which I don't know if you know this, his nickname is Big Maple.
Big Maple.
Um, yeah. Um,
He's still
Cal
pitching.
Quantrill.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's still pitching.
yeah,
I'll have to look. Cal Quantrill,
yeah.
um, Mike Soroka,
Okay,
Jameson Tyone.
okay,
Tyone was also born in the U.S.
yeah.
The Naylor brothers, Bo Naylor, Josh Naylor,
Oh, okay,
uh, Tyler O'Neill, one of the
okay,
outfielders.
yeah.
So,
So,
um,
so they got to take care of business here, man. I mean, there's some pretty good players there. You know, they've got to take. I mean, nothing compared to the lineup that the U.S. could put out, right? I think the real matchup. So, go ahead. You want to say something?
all right. So I'm looking at the coaches, which we have a few names: Justin Morneau, Paul Quantrill, Russell Martin. I don't know who this is. Stubby Clapp.
W. Klatt, yeah. He's you know the only reason why I know him. He's a coach with the Cardinals, I think, if he's still with them. Um, because when Nolan Arenado tossed aside Tomas Nido after you got Joe the Mets and Cardinals that early season dust up they had, um,
Yeah,
because Pete Alonso had gotten drilled and they thought Pete Alonso was going to charge the mound or get into it, Genesis Cabrera, who was on the Mets this past year, as well as Stubby Clapp, they both like tackled him, but Stubby grabbed him by the legs and Alonso's like, what is wrong with these guys? If I wanted to go off, I would have went off. You know, I just remember it
I
was
do
some,
remember that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I don't know why you would have that nickname, huh? Stubby. I would assume that's his nickname. Um, but anyway, the U.S. got to take care of business. Here, as good as the U.S. team is, Ken, is the Dominican team better?
Uh, um, well, let me pull up their roster because I think when we talked about it last week, I might have underestimated just like the
Yeah,
star power in their lineup.
yeah,
Um, because like their rotation pretty good. I wouldn't say I think the U.S. is better because they've got Alcantara.
yeah,
They have Brian Bayo, who's pretty good. Severino, a little past his prime, but still good.
yeah,
Dennis Santana, like they have guys. Christopher Sanchez, who had a really good game last night, night before. Um, but like their lineup, you got Austin Wells, you got Junior Caminero, you got Vladdy, you got Manny, Ketel Marte, Geraldo Perdomo, Carlos Santana, who's he just there as a veteran presence. But like their outfield is Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, and Fernando Tatis.
I mean,
Um,
I,
that's really hard to beat.
so it's not going to be easy for the U.S. to beat Dominican Republic. I mean, they've got to be the favorite. I would think they're the favorites. You know, now it sounds like though I think the U.S. pitching might be better. I mean, Dennis Santana, I'm sorry, decent pitcher, journeyman though, right? Few of the Christopher Sanchez too, not um, and so, but boy, oh boy, that lineup, Fernando Tatis and Machado, and oh my gosh, my goodness, what a lineup they have. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But we have Captain America, so and listen, he's not going to come through every single time. I know, the other night they did get a point where he could have tied the game, but he's not going to come through 100% of the time. Nobody does. So, in Japan, they got a shot here.
I mean, I think right now, like, because the way the bracket works, U.S. plays Canada, and the winner plays the winner of Korea and Canada.
Right,
No, Dominican.
right.
Um, so I look at the other side, and so Japan's playing Venezuela, which they should probably win. And
Yeah,
then you have Puerto Rico against Italy,
yeah, yeah,
which Italy is like the Cinderella of this
yeah,
WBC.
yeah,
They've been fantastic. But
yeah.
also Puerto Rico is a very good team too.
Very good team. Yeah, yeah,
So like really if I'm looking top four, it's probably US, Dominican, Puerto Rico, Japan. We'll kind of see how it goes.
yeah. But U.S. can't face Dominican in the final because they're in the same bracket, right? Okay. All right.
Yeah. So if both win, they'll face in the semifinals.
Okay. Okay. So we might, well, we'll see. I mean, we're going to be rooting for the U.S., but even though I'm gonna be rooting at Juan Soto looks like a different player. I'm sorry. I said that, I texted you that the other day. He looks so different than he did last year, but he looked this way in the couple of Met games that I saw as well, but he's having a lot of fun, here. There's a camaraderie with the Dominicans that you may not see as much, not just in the U.S. team, but even with the other teams. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like they're a little tighter. And
Yeah.
also, like you said, I think they're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like the home run celebrations, I think have been really fun to watch this year, except for the US, who doesn't have a fun
Yeah.
ritual.
Yeah.
Like you have the Italians, they're sipping espresso. They got the jacket for
Yeah.
Dominicans. And
Yeah.
the Mexicans had the giant sombrero.
Sombrero, yeah.
Americans are just like,
Yeah. 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 That's all right. Let's just give him a high five. That's it. Um, very interesting. So I'm going to keep watching. You got me into this, and this has been fun. This has really, really been fun. It's just on at odd times, and I have no idea what FS2 is. I don't think I have that, because some of these games have been on FS2. And for some reason, Optimum, we don't have the MLB network anymore. Um, they're in some sort of contract dispute. But I thought the MLB network was going to be part of ESPN going forward, but still a separate entity, I guess.
yeah, it's like it's weird because you can like if you have an ESPN Plus subscription, then you also get MLB TV as like an
Right.
add-on or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so speaking of TV, and then we'll jump to the NBA in a second. Talk a little bit about Netflix. You had texted me something there. We know the announcers now and everything. And gosh, that's coming up soon, right? Giants and the Yankees. Is that in San Francisco or Yankee Stadium?
Uh, Good question. I think it's I don't know. I'll check.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but yeah, so Netflix, which like it's kind of interesting that like they have like obviously they have their full broadcast team, but also as far as I know, they aren't doing any other games. Like they're doing opening night and then they're doing the home run derby. My
Right.
assumption is that like if all goes well and you have decent ratings, they might pick up like a certain night of the week
Right.
because uh, we've seen that sometimes with some like when they started uh the YouTube
Right.
games, which they
Right.
quickly ended. It is
Right.
in San Francisco, by the way.
It is in San
Um,
Francisco. Okay.
but like when they started that, like it was kind of like oh, this is there. But like
Yeah.
it came in the middle of the season, no one really talked about it.
Yeah.
But this is the on-air talent according to what they have. So it's going to be just exclusively on Netflix. Another side note with that, I saw a clip from Michael Kay, him saying it's kind of a shame that MLB is taking this away from the S Network, which like if I'm him, I'm mad because like that's one of the games everyone watches
Sure.
and you can't get to call it. But
Yeah.
um, so we have Matt Vasgersian is going to be the play-by-play.
Mhm.
Hunter Pence and CC Sabathia are going to be the color commentators.
Okay.
I believe also Vasgersian might be doing some NBC stuff from what I read.
Okay.
Um, NBC is going to be fun because they have their guy doing Sunday night, but it's going to be kind of like the way they used to do the World Series, where you're going to have like a rotating set based on who they're playing. So, like if it's the Yankees, you might get David Cohn, or
Oh,
the Mets, you
okay.
might get a Ron Darling or Keith Hernandez. So that'll be
Oh,
fun.
really? I didn't know
Uh,
that. Okay. I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, sideline reporter Lauren Shahadi. I know her, but I think she's MLB Network, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Um, And then with like the pre and post game, L. Duncan is going to
Right.
be hosting.
Yeah.
And then Albert Pujols and Anthony Rizzo are also going to be there too.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah, it should be fun to see hear some of these new guys now. Some of those same guys. Anthony Rizzo is also going to be on the NBC pregame and post, right? But I do love that it's Bob Costas hosting that on NBC. But Netflix, that's going to be very interesting. Like you said, along the way they'll probably pick up some games, probably maybe not even this year. But they're paying Elle Duncan a lot of money, right? They lure her from ESPN, so they're going to need to put her to work a little bit. Because I mean, face it, right now, yeah, Netflix doesn't have a ton of sports right now. I know they have the NFL games, but speaking of which, did you see that they want to do an NFL game on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving now?
yeah, good luck. You're asking a team to do like
Yeah.
Sunday and then Wednesday. Like that's not going to work.
Come on. Yeah. I mean, come on. So Jason Benetti, right? I've heard his work. He's pretty good. I imagine he's still going to stay as play-by-play for the Tigers. But he's going to be the main play-by-play guy on NBC, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've got Rizzo, Joey Votto, um, in the studio, right, with Bob Costas, probably a few others. Um, and I really I love that idea. So that idea was when I was a kid, they would bring in an announcer. You just said it, right? In the World Series, they bring in either a back then the play-by-play guys were also commentators. So, it wasn't unusual if you hear a tape of the 69 World Series, you would also hear Lindsey Nelson, Mets announcer announcing some of the games, and the Baltimore announcer, same when, the Oakland A's played the Mets, you'd hear I forgot the guy's name. His last name was Moore. Um, and then you'd hear one of the Mets announcers as well on the national broadcast for a couple of innings. So that's pretty cool. I like that they'll bring in, I love the idea of maybe Keith Hernandez, with Benetti on a Sunday night if the Mets are on, that's a good thing. Um, so ready to turn to the NBA, or you had anything else with baseball?
No, I think that's it. I haven't watched a lick of spring training these last couple weeks because I've been in the WBC.
Well,
So
yeah, yeah, I haven't seen too much. I saw early spring training, but I haven't seen much the last week or so. Um, before I'm going to share the screen, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And I don't know why people are killing him. This is an amazing accomplishment. Bam Adebayo gets 83 points the other night. It's hard to believe that you know that he did. And I don't want to take anything from him. Bam is an excellent player. But Kenny, let me ask you this. If you were to name how many players, let me ask you this way. How many players do you think you would name if someone said, hey, how many players in the NBA are capable of getting 80 or 83 points? How many players do you think you would name before you name Bam?
oh, a lot.
Quite a bit,
I
right?
mean, I
Just
could easily name 10 right here.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So unexpected. You know what I was thinking? Again, this is no shot. I think it's an amazing accomplishment. I think it says also something about the Wizards too, but I don't want to take anything away from him. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when it happens every once in a while, right? When baseball players hit 4 home runs in one game. Now, the guy who did it this year, he might be a star, right? The guy from Oakland. But before that, do you remember who did it before that?
Scooter Jeanette has one, right?
Scooter,
Like
yeah.
three guys. I think three guys hit it last year.
Three
Um,
guys hit 4 home runs last year. I thought the guy from Oakland was the only one.
I think I think there might have been two or three because I'm pretty sure Schwarber
Wow.
did, and then somebody else did.
Okay.
I'll
It's
look it up.
it's still pretty rare, right?
Oh
But
yeah, it's rarer than a perfect game.
Scooter Jeanette was a decent player who had a great night. I mean, a couple of years later, I'm pretty sure he wasn't playing in the majors, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm almost sure that I went to a Ducks game and he was playing for another team. No knock on him. I'm sure, he had talent enough to hit 4 home runs in one night in a major league game. But that's why I like it too. Bam is a very good player. I'm sure he's been an all-star a couple of times. Miami's playing actually very well. I'm sure you're going to go over that. But I thought it was a great accomplishment. What did you think?
Side note, yeah, three: Kyle Schwarber, Nick Kurtz, and also Eugenio Suarez hit
They all hit
four
four
home runs
home
this
runs
year.
in a game last year.
Yeah.
That had to be a record because it's rare, right? There's not many guys. There can't be 20 guys that have done that in
Uh,
major history.
21.
21. Okay. Okay. Wow.
Um, I'll list the ones previous, and then 2017 there were two actually: Scooter Jeanette and JD Martinez, your boy.
JD hit four in a game. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, as a member of the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. I love
Uh,
JD.
Josh Hamilton also did it.
I remember that.
Carlos Delgado.
I remember that.
Um,
Not for the Mets, for
Sean
Toronto.
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, another ex-Met, Sean Green.
I remember that for Toronto too.
And look, another ex-Met, Mike Cameron,
Mike Cameron hit four in a game. Wow. I don't remember that. That's amazing. Yeah.
as 2002. Those are the guys, at least in the 2000s. So,
Right. Right.
um,
There's a guy that was
but
an ex-Yankee that played a few years with the Yankees that did it with the Cardinals though. What's the next guy on that?
uh,
Mark something?
Mark Witten.
Yeah, Mark Whiten. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Another good player. Most of those guys were good players. I think Willie Mays also did it one time. Um, but most of those guys were good players who just had an unbelievable night, right? Or an unbelievable day if they hit it during the day. And that's what I liken this with Bam. Bam is an above average player. He's not just an average player. I mean, he's very good, but 83 points. I mean, he's not known for scoring, I don't think, right? He's more defense, blocking shots. Anyway, I still think it's a great accomplishment. I mean, he's second to Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, it's more than Kobe Bryant, more than Michael Jordan ever had. I mean, it's unfathomable when you think about it, right?
Yeah, it is like one of those like because let's fast forward 20 years because like obviously we know Bam now, but um like let's say Isaac at 25, and we're looking at like guys that scored 70 plus points. He's like, Bam Adebayo, who the heck is that? Like that's gonna be what we say.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's true. And again, no shade. He's a very good player. Um,
my
it-
my only thing though is like I understand trying to do it, and like we don't have tape of it, but like apparently in Wilt's 100-point game, it was kind of something similar where they were just basically feeding him the ball, and like which is fine, like do it. But
yeah,
my issue is Miami fouling when you're up by 20
no, yeah,
intentionally to try to get him the
right.
ball.
No,
And
I don't think that. You're right. Yeah, yeah,
like that gives me a little bit of like,
yeah,
but still you have to score points. Got to
yeah,
make the baskets.
yeah, yeah.
43 free throw attempts he did.
That's crazy.
So,
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's jump into your list here. I'll turn it over to you.
all right. So, the bottom list, the tournament will be more fun than watching my team. We've been there where
Yeah,
you have, especially when you have guys that you're like, okay, I wonder if this guy will fit with the young guys we already have on our team. All these teams are out of the lottery. No one has a winning streak of more than, I think, two.
yeah,
Uh, yep. The Pelicans are on a 2-game winning streak. Everyone else is on a long one. The Mavs have an 8-game losing streak. The
yeah.
Pacers, a 10-game losing streak. Oh, I can get rid of them now. They're officially eliminated.
Oh, good.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
the Wizards have lost 9 in a row. So, like, if you're a fan of one of these teams, tune into March Madness,
Oh, yeah.
watch some of the amazing players that'll be coming out,
Yep.
and visualize them to get on your team when you know it's not going to happen because that's how it always works.
That
Like
was
when we were hoping
absolutely
for a Steph Curry or Ja
yeah,
Moran or whoever.
That was you and
Um,
I's life for several years.
oh
Like,
yeah,
man, I hope the Knicks get this guy, you know?
and then it always ends up not being that guy,
No.
and then we end up with Kevin Knox and
Yeah.
Fry.
Yeah.
But everything's good now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not happening. These teams they might make the playoffs, they might be in the play-in, but they're not going on a big run. Magic, I think it's a little too late for them. Hornets, it's a big step forward, but they're still not there. Who knows what the Bulls are doing? The Hawks are a very interesting team. I'll talk about them in inspiration a little bit. Uh, the Clippers, I don't know. They're just. There was one point where I was like, "Oh, are the Clippers actually going to do something?"
Beat
And
the
they're game over 500,
Yeah. And they beat the
and
Knicks.
Kawhi still exists.
Yeah, Kawhi's
But
still playing. He had 45 points last night.
like, if they actually make it, I would be stunned.
Yeah.
Like that would mean that they would have to, like, because right now, assuming that if they move up to the 7 seed, they'd be facing the Spurs and then the Rockets and then the Thunder. That would be quite a run.
Oh,
Um, and
yeah.
then the Portland. It's not happening this year.
Yeah. I,
Um,
I like what Portland has done though. They've played hard. Think about that adversity there with, losing their coach at the beginning of the year. This coach should probably get the job permanently. I'm sure they're waiting for everything to settle in. But I like what Portland has done. They've really played hard.
yeah, and it's also something to build on, whether or not they actually are in the playoffs or not.
Yeah.
Um, I think it'll be good for them.
Yep.
Um, would be saying wow if they went on a run. Like, I'm not going to fully dismiss these teams like going on a crazy playoff run and making the finals, but we'd be like, wow, what a run the Warriors went on, or the Lakers, Suns, 76ers, Heat, Raptors. I think all of them, it wouldn't be like stunning, but also, I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the Warriors are one game under 500 now, which is which is not surprising with the injuries that they've had. I'm surprised you have the Lakers there though. So you wouldn't see the Lakers in the finals, huh?
I would be a little surprised. I
Okay.
think we would have to be like, wow, like Luca really has turned it on.
Right.
LeBron has turned it on. It just kind of seems like the team isn't really built for like a good playoff run.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
Especially like first round Denver right now. Oh, that would be a little scary if I'm a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the second round, you'd be facing the Thunder.
No.
Yeah. So, um, but who knows? Like why I put them there, like because of Luca and because of LeBron, it wouldn't be surprising. Like, but we would still be like, wow, like what a run. Like if LeBron makes the finals again and be like, oh my gosh, he's the GOAT. He was able to carry this team.
Yeah.
This team's not awful. They have one of the top 5 players in the league. But
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, on the finals bubble, like these teams, like I don't know if they can make the finals, but I think they still have enough to make it there. I put the Cavs here. The Cavs have struggled with injuries. I think they're starting to get fully healthy. We'll see. Minnesota, I don't really know what to do with Minnesota. They're 40 and 26. They're like a half a game out of third in the East.
Yeah.
So I could see them going. The Rockets too. They're kind of in that bunch along with Denver. So
Yeah.
we'll kind of see what happens. Top five, I think the top five has been pretty much the same. OKC, Detroit, the Spurs, the Knicks, the Celtics.
Yeah.
I consider putting the Knicks down because the Knicks haven't had a great week, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to put anyone else above them right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is great. Pistons had lost four straight. I don't know if they won or lost last night. Um, are you starting to see a little bit of a crack in the seams there with Detroit?
Potentially, they did win last night,
They
but
did. Okay. So they broke their losing streak because they had lost to the Nets actually. And during that losing streak, which was stunning. And they were up big on the Nets going into the third quarter, or midway through the third quarter. Um, Ken, I gotta tell you, out of the five that you have at the top, the Spurs to me are the most interesting. As much, I'm going to put the Knicks to the side for a second because obviously we have our hopes of getting to the finals, right? This year. But I don't, San Antonio is so good. They beat the Celtics on national television Tuesday night. Now it's a little bit tainted because Jaylen Brown got kicked out, arguing. He got two techs early, like in the middle of the second quarter. But it was still a very close game throughout, and San Antonio wound up winning. I feel like the Spurs, going head to head with these top teams, even though the Knicks have beat them a couple of times, they've really shown that they are just this really good team. And outside of Wembanyama and Castle, it's not a ton of San Antonio Spurs that are household names. What do you think of San Antonio in that bracket? Because you have them that they could possibly get to the finals.
I think there's a shot for them to get to the finals. I think the biggest thing that could stop them is experience. Um, because I did see a stat, I'm going to probably butcher it. I think there's only one Hall of Famer that won a championship on their first playoff run. So, like, assuming that Wemby eventually is a Hall of Famer, which it's early, but he's on that trajectory, then he would be like the second ever.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
also, like, crazier things have happened.
yeah, 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 absolutely. Um, the one note I made here, and you have them in the right category. The Bucks are 6 games behind Charlotte for the last, play-in spot. So I think what you have now is just going to be a matter of seeding. So I think you have the 10 teams that are going to get, into the playoffs and the play-in in the East, because there's no way the Bucks are going to catch Charlotte, I don't think. I mean, that would be kind of a miracle, right? Less than 20 games left. They're 6 games up. And I didn't write it down, but I think it's sort of like that way in the West as well. That probably the teams that you have there now, because I think Memphis is like the number 11 seed in the West. And I think they have only 23 wins, for the year. And so I think that it's just going to be a matter of now, the seeding. And while the player, you did a great job, by the way, as always, on that. The seeding, um, uh, between, the 7 and 10 and that play-in tournament, that could be kind of fun. But I think you're right. It's only every once in a while. Miami a few years ago, and you could probably count the rest on one hand, where you have those lower 7, 8 seeds, getting to even the conference finals. Um, but nonetheless, it'll still be exciting because you've got a bunch of really, really good teams. I think even in your other category there, none of us would be shocked if the Cavs made it to the finals this year, right? Or if the Rockets made it to the final. They got spanked by the Nuggets last night, if I'm not mistaken, because I think that was the ESPN game. I watched the Knicks in Utah as long as I could, and then went to bed. Um, all right, so a lot of great stuff coming up. We're into that fun time, man. WBC, NBA, March Madness. I think the seeding program, right, is on the tournament program is on Sunday night, this Sunday night.
Yeah, I believe so. I think
Yeah.
we're
Yeah, we're in the conference tournaments this week. So yeah, yeah. So next week this time, man, we watch a little March Madness, which is great. If you don't have that CBS at that March Madness app, it's amazing because you can switch to the games and everything like that just right there on your phone, no matter where you're at.
yeah.
Um,
It'll give you alerts
yeah.
if a game is close or if there's an upset brewing.
Right, right, absolutely. And on the off times, if you want to watch a classic game on there, you can watch a classic game on there as well. Um, all right, you ready for some inspiration? We'll be quick because I think we're a little bit over. Um, watching the Knicks and Jazz last night, it reminded me because Kevin Love is still playing. He's playing on the Utah Jazz. Did you know that? You,
I forgot that he's still playing.
yeah,
That's his Shaq Celtics team.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He got in and played a couple of good, some good minutes last night. He still can play a little bit, but it reminded me of the inspiration that he is. And I know we've used him before, but Kevin Love being really the first that I can remember, really high profile athlete, coming out and talking very transparently about his struggles with mental health, how he had to leave a game in 2017 because he just had a nervous breakdown. And some things I looked at today that I remember. I'll say these quick. He's just an inspiration because he has the Kevin Love Fund, and that's through Elevance Health. Do you know that they offer free mental health evaluations? And they've helped and counseled for free over 100,000 people since he started it in 2018. And if you remember, 2018 was when he wrote that article in the Players Tribune. It was called Everyone is Going Through Something. And that's where he was very, very transparent. And so shout out to him. Some of the things that we do forget though with him, he was an excellent player, maybe borderline even Hall of Famer. His first few years with the Timberwolves, man, he was either first or second in the league in scoring. And then remember, it was LeBron James that really pushed for the trade to trade Andrew Wiggins, right? Who was up and coming star, never really panned out. Andrew Wiggins is a good player, but never panned out to be as good as Kevin Love. So let's bring him in. And he won the one championship with LeBron, which was great. But if you remember him at UCLA, I think he was one of those guys that we watched in 2012 literally take his team on his back to the Final Four. They lost in the national semifinal that year, maybe to Kentucky, but he was a great college player. He was one and done. And then, the Timberwolves picked him up, and that was kind of where the Timberwolves started to turn around, post Kevin Garnett. So Kevin Love, not only a great basketball player, but just has meant so much to so many just by telling his story and being able to help. So Kevin Love, I know we've used him before, but inspiration for me this week after I saw him last night.
Yeah, I wonder, you said borderline Hall of Famer. I think he should get in because of the impact he had on the Cavs as well as what he did before that. But we'll see.
Yep. Yep. Agree.
Um, so I'm going to talk today about weird situation with the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know if you've seen any of this.
Oh,
Magic City Monday.
oh my gosh.
Um, so for those that don't know and you're like, what are you talking about? So the Hawks were scheduling this thing called Magic City Monday. I'm not from Atlanta. I don't know anything about Atlanta. But apparently Magic City is a very famous strip club that is not just like a strip club, but like a cultural icon in the Atlanta world. And they were planning on doing a collab where they would have a rapper who's rapped about the said strip club. Also, they were going to have wings from the strip club, which apparently are really good. I don't know if I could ever believe that, but whatever. Um, and then also have a shirt that has the logo with the Hawks and whatever. So it received a lot of interesting conversation because there were some people that were very much for it, saying well, sports supports gambling. Why can't they support strip clubs? Which I don't think they should support gambling either, but whatever. Um, and then also some people talking about the cultural significance of it. Once again, if your cultural significance is a strip club, you may want to look at your culture again. But one that really stuck out and was given a lot of credit for something it was supposed to be this upcoming Monday, and they've now since canceled it. But one person that was a significant part of that was Luke Cornett, who actually penned a letter, not a handwritten letter. He typed it up about why it's important for the NBA to not associate with a strip club and how that exploits women and shows people that objectifying women is not okay, which I think is really cool because the power of one person that's standing up for something that they know is right is good. And I think sometimes it's really hard to be the one person in the room that's hey, that's not okay. Also, side note, I found out through it that Luke Cornett's a Christian. He's apparently a very devout Catholic, goes to mass regularly and everything like that. So, yeah, I think it was a very interesting story. Still one of the most bizarre promotional things that I've ever seen. And I've literally seen a brain rot one where they're giving out stuff about 6'7", and I think this is still probably weirder. Um, but I'm glad that they were able to listen and they're like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this. So shout out to Luke Cornett. Shout
Yeah.
out to doing the right thing even when it's hard.
Yeah. What were the Hawks thinking? I mean, and if I have the story right, Ken, and thank you for really talking about the Luke Cornett part of it. It was the NBA. It was Adam Silver that had to step in and put his foot down, right? That the Hawks was still going to go through with it. And it was finally the commissioner said, yeah, no, not on my watch. I'm sorry, you know. I don't know what they were thinking. When we get off the air, just Google that club and Patrick Ewing, because that club almost caused some Knicks to really get in a lot of hot water back in the day. That's the only way that I remembered that club. I'm pretty sure it's the same one, but thank you for bringing that up. I had totally forgot about that story. What a utterly ridiculous story. Again, we're on positive tip. We're not prudes. We're not, hanging out in strip clubs either. But my goodness, why would the NBA of all places want to promote something like that? It doesn't make any sense. So thanks for bringing that up. Shout out to Luke Cornett. I saw what you had, what he had written. I thought it was dead on. It wasn't judgy. He just was stating why would the NBA be associated with this? I would
Yeah.
have thought a lot of other women would have gotten up and applauded and rise away. Maybe they did, but you didn't hear the groundswell saying don't do this. You heard it only from some people. You know, it was more groundswell on the transgender nights, right? With the Dodgers and some of the other teams. Um, Sports needs to stay sports. I mean, come on, you can recognize some things in the community, but not that. Come on, that was silly.
Yeah. And like, I understand that not every single night has to be fully family friendly, but
No,
like, there's a
yeah,
difference between not family friendly and like
yeah, just crazy.
endorsing strippers.
Yeah, just off the wall. Yeah. All right, Ken, this has been great. We went a little bit long, but we had a lot to cover today. We'll certainly be back next week with all of the stuff that's going on. What a great time to be a sports fan. So, Kenny, take us home.
Alrighty, this is Kenny Squared N.
Kenny.
Sports on the Positive Tip. We'll see you guys next week. Go USA.